If we are ever going to get back to the old America, that's got to be the Democrats' part of the bargain. Stop coming up with radically new and often terrible ideas, and then in the next breath insist there be no debate about any of it. That if you don't see it right away and go along, you're bad, stupid, and deplorable. As if you were saying, duh, 2 + 2 = 5, isn't that obvious? Yeah, it's obvious you can't add. Looting is cool. Healthy at any weight? If the men's football team played the women's team, it would be a tie.
Clip 1. Bill Maher delivered a blunt warning. If America is ever going to return to stability, Democrats must stop rolling out radical new ideas and then insisting there be no debate about them. He mocked the culture of moral certainty where disagreement is treated as ignorance or evil. In his view, politics cannot function if questioning an idea automatically makes you bad or deplorable. Democracy requires argument, not enforced agreement.
Now, I don't think most liberals are insane, but neither do they make it clear they disapprove of the ones who are, and their cowardice in not marginalizing their own crazies has been their downfall. I couldn't get Neil deGrasse Tyson, a genius scientist and preeminent scientific voice in the media, to agree that it was ridiculous for Scientific American and The Atlantic to be claiming that separating sports by sex doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. Actually, it makes perfect sense. And it's obvious that it does.
Maher's deeper concern isn't just policy, it's tone. He argues that when certain cultural positions are presented as unquestionable truths, it shuts down the open exchange democracy depends on. Disagreement becomes taboo instead of productive. And when voters feel they can't speak honestly without being labeled, they don't lean in, they walk away.
And there's a lot of stuff like that on the left. And when conservatives see it, they say, I'm sorry, we're just not going to go along with reinventing society, often pointlessly, even if we have to cancel democracy to do it. That's what they're saying. They see gender as only a construct and sex is assigned at birth, and they say, we're not doing that. Transing kids by self-diagnosis with no age limit, no parental notification, and no acknowledgement of social contagion, not doing it. Asylum now covers any reason for anyone to come to America, not doing it.
Maher expressed frustration that even respected scientific voices like Neil deGrasse Tyson get pulled into cultural debates that blur the line between hard science and political ideology. When issues like sex-based sports divisions become controversial despite long-standing biological distinctions, Maher argues it confuses everyday voters and undermines trust in experts.
Homelessness is a lifestyle. Natural immunity doesn't count anymore. Whiteness is toxic. This is in women's prisons. Welcoming the Intifada. We're not doing it. If we are ever going to get back to the old America, that's got to be the Democrats' part of the bargain. Stop coming up with radically new and often terrible ideas, and then in the next breath insist there be no debate about any of it.
According to Maher, Democrats risk losing momentum when they prioritize niche cultural battles over everyday economic concerns. Voters care about inflation, affordability, safety, and stability. When messaging centers more on redefining social frameworks than solving kitchen table problems, support begins to erode.
That if you don't see it right away and go along, you're bad, stupid, and deplorable. As if you were saying, duh, 2 + 2 = 5, isn't that obvious? Yeah, it's obvious you can't add. You can't just say math is racist, looting is cool, healthy at any weight. If the men's football team played the women's team, it would be a tie. You can't just say.
Maher believes many voters feel uneasy about rapid cultural shifts, particularly around gender policy, parental involvement, and education. His warning isn't about rejecting progress, it's about pace and persuasion. When changes feel sudden or imposed without broad consensus, backlash becomes inevitable.
Democrats today have gone out of their way to post messages on social media about the current Trump administration and what's happening to American lives. The problem is they're all literally saying the same damn thing. Don't believe me? Check it out.
When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down, they're up. Inflation is getting worse. Not better. The prices of grocery, gas,
Now you see why Stephen A. Smith was in the polls as a presidential candidate? See what I'm talking about? You see that idiocy right there? You talk about something, people being tone deaf.
Maher argues that Democrats often fail to distance themselves from their most extreme voices. Even if most liberals are reasonable, he says they rarely push back publicly against ideas that sound disconnected from common sense. That silence creates the perception of agreement, and perceptions shape elections.
Why the hell would 22 Democratic senators be literally echoing the same thing and think that would resonate with the American people? All it shows is that the same fabric of our democracy is unchanging in the eyes of some of these officials, and as a result, the constituency they represent, which is why Donald Trump is in office. What, do I have to come up to Capitol Hill and give you lessons? Seriously, you don't get it? Oh, you did. Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Chuck Schumer. Let's all get together. Let's put this in a prompter, and all together, albeit in separate rooms, we'll grab a microphone and say the same damn thing.
Another criticism centers on messaging. When multiple politicians repeat identical talking points, it can feel staged and artificial. Maher believes authenticity wins trust. Scripted outrage does not. In an era of instant media scrutiny, voters quickly recognize rehearsed political theater.
Chuck Schumer and the typical politicians, oh, inflation is high. Oh, look at them pointing the fingers at the migrants. Oh, look at them blaming immigration. They don't care about you. Oh, by the way, they don't care about well, why would you bother people from the LGBTQ community? Why would you bother folks with transgender and all this? Why would you do that? That is what the Democrats say. That's what most politicians would say. Here's Trump. They're pieces of They don't give about you. It's rigged. They've hoodwinked you all the time. They think you're a freaking joke. They give you the middle finger anytime they want to. Here's Trump. Fuck them. They ain't worth shit.
Media personality Stephen A. Smith has echoed similar frustrations. He argues that non-stop attacks on Donald Trump are not a substitute for presenting a compelling alternative. According to Smith, voters don't just want criticism, they want solutions, clarity, and strength.
And do you know what his followers say? Yeah, that's how we want you talking to those politicians who's been stealing our money all of these years. It's not what he says, it's how he says it. He does it with vitriol and venom to show a disrespect to politicians who the public have no respect for because they feel they've been hoodwinked by those same politicians. He's using it to separate himself from the cesspool that is Capitol Hill. And how does Capitol Hill respond? By showing them they're still Capitol Hill.
Smith contrasts what he sees as Trump's blunt, unscripted style with what he describes as overly managed Democratic messaging. Whether people agree with Trump or not, Smith argues that decisiveness and plain speech resonate with voters who feel ignored by political elites. In today's environment, authenticity carries enormous weight.
Did you see me on The View Tuesday afternoon? Did you see when they said, we don't believe there's a Trump mandate? I said, oh, really? Did you see the former press secretary for the White House come on? I think Stephen A. is wrong. I don't believe what he said is correct. Donald Trump has the lowest approval ratings in the first month or so, or the 2 months of a presidency in American history. Oh, really? But didn't he win all the swing states? Didn't his popularity elevate within 89% of the counties in the United States of America? Didn't his popularity elevate within the Black community, the Hispanic community, and the young voters?
Taken together, Maher and Smith are sounding the same alarm from different angles. The Democratic Party risks appearing out of touch. When dissent is discouraged, debate is stifled, and messaging feels calculated, voters lose trust. Their warning is simple: rebuild credibility through open discussion, practical solutions, and authentic leadership. Because when frustration hardens into distrust, elections follow.